Hey violins! Today we're going to work on Essential Elements number 192, otherwise known as Simple Gifts. This beautiful little song is separated into two violin parts, violin A and B. But make sure to watch the whole video because most of the parts are the same and the technique will help you whether you're working on part A or part B. Our goal tempo for this is BPM equals 72. That's the tempo that I'll set my metronome at when we're playing together at the end. This piece is in D major, meaning there are two sharps in our key. So F sharp and C sharp, those two notes are raised. Our time signature is 4/4, meaning there are 4 quarter notes in one measure. And basically, this piece is separated into 4 sections dynamically: forte, piano, forte, and piano. Let's take a look at the beginning of part A. We have what's known as the pickup. The pickup means that you don't start on the downbeat of measure 1 to start the piece. Instead, we start on beat 4. So whenever you're practicing with your metronome, make sure to count 3 empty beats before you come in on beat 4. Now take a look at measure 2. Underneath both of your F sharps, you have a bracket that connects them. That bracket simply tells you that it's easier if you leave your finger down after you play the first F sharp, so that you don't have to press that note again when you come back to it the second time. Let's take a look at the first 2 measures slowly so that we can work on the string crossings together as well as holding down our F sharp. Always remember, the lower the string is, the higher your elbow should be, and the higher the string, the lower your elbow. Make sure to let your elbow really guide you on the string crossings tied together by slurs. Here's measures 1 and 2 under tempo. 1, 2, 3. Notice how I'm keeping my body relaxed, my arm flexible, and I'm leading with my elbow. Here's measures 1 and 2 in slow motion. 1, 2, 3. When you're playing measure 4, feel free to loop that measure over and over again, slowly, out of time, until you get that motion down. As always, we want to bring our elbow towards our body. And our 4th finger should be strong and independent with the rest of our fingers, the 3 fingers, in the air. We call this an open hand, and this will provide maximum flexibility and ease of motion for your 4th finger. Here's measure 4, looped twice, slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th finger comes back again at measure 8. This time we have 3 of those in a row, followed by a slur of F sharp and open E. Measure 8 sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. At measure 10, you have your first piano section. Try to use less bow and less pressure than you were using at the forte in the beginning. In measure 13, there's a retake. That means after we play that down bow, we draw our rainbow and come back and set our bow at the frog for the next measure, measure 14, which is forte again. Here are the 4 measures of piano at measure 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't forget to start up bow for that section, and don't forget to retake so that you can play forte in the next section. Our second and final retake happens on the 3rd beat of measure 18. This retake will bring us back to the original melody of Simple Gifts at the very beginning. Basically, our 2 8th note pickups on A string on B4. Here is what 17 through 19 sounds like with the retake in measure 18. 1, 2, 3, 4. At the very end of the piece, the last 3 measures to be exact, we have long notes. 2 notes that are 2 beats each, basically half notes. And then you have a very long note at the very last note of the piece, which is going to be 6 beats. A whole note, 4 beats, tied to a half note, which is another 2 beats. Here are the last 3 measures of the piece. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, off. Let's take a look at part B. Part B is actually really similar to part A, but this is a supplemental part. That means we're providing harmonic context for the melody in part A. This is not to say that we don't have melody. There are melodies to bring out in part B, but most of the time we're playing harmony, so we should lean back, actively listen to the melody in part A, and play a little softer with less pressure and a little less bow. The sections of this piece are the same, separated into 4 dynamics: forte, piano, forte, and piano. We also have the same 2 very important retakes, one in measure 13 and the other one in measure 18. Let's take a look at measure 5. In measure 5, there's one special note that violin A does not have, and that is a C sharp in beat 2. Make sure you're playing a nice high 2 for that note and really sing out, because that's when violin B has a very important melody note. Here's measure 5 under tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's take a look at measures 6 through 13. This is our first harmony part, and even though this is marked forte and piano, I like to play this at mezzo forte or forte minus and then move on to piano. This is so that we don't get in the way of the melody part going on in violin A. Also at measure 10, notice how the music writes 4th finger for all of those notes instead of open A. Our open A is very loud and ringy, so we don't want that. We want a closed 4th finger so that we can play a true piano and stay out of the way. Here's measures 6 through 13 slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's take a look at measure 19. Here, the first violin A part, is basically playing the same exact melody of simple gifts as they did in measures 1 and 2. But for violin B, this is different. We used to match violin A at the very beginning. Now we're playing a counter melody. This is really, really beautiful, and it's an inner voice harmony that we should bring out. So even though this is not the melody, this is just as important. Let's play pick up into 19 slowly. 1, 2, 3. Notice how this part also has a lot of string crossing, so practice slowly. Use your elbow to guide your motion, and just remember, the lower the string, the higher the elbow. The higher the string, the lower the elbow. Finally, let's take a look at pick up into 23. The very last line of this piece, we're once again back in harmony. We do have some 4th fingers on the G string, which is quite difficult. Don't forget to relax your hand and bring your elbow as close as you possibly can to your body. And the very last note is just like the first violin, 6 beats long. So save your bow and count accordingly. Here's pick up into measure 13, playing at piano. 1, 2, 3.